You've heard me say it before, trading can be a tedious job, especially when we're at the beginning stages of finding an edge. When we first start out with tiny size to get our practice in, we can find ourselves discounting the value of what we are doing because the monetary value is kind of small when we win or lose. This can lead to taking trades for entertainment purposes more than for practice itself, which essentially equates to worthless practice and therefore a lot of wasted time. It's a very common thing that I hear in even my chat room that I'm in. A lot of people will say it was small size, so it really doesn't matter. I'm here to actually tell you that the opposite is the case. A person can practice with 1 or 1,000 shares, and both can either prepare them for success or lead to sloppiness and disaster. When your mindset is of such that it doesn't matter, no matter what that means and why, no matter what your tolerance level is, dollar amount or otherwise, you're likely to take longer to get to your goals because you're not really focused. You're wasting your time and precious resources that you could be putting into strong practice. Essentially, you're creating bad habits that you're going to have to unlearn in the future, which will take even more time. And nobody likes to learn the hard way. The solution is not necessarily to size up either. I've actually heard a few people say that they have to go heavier with their size in order to make it feel real to them, to make it feel like they have something at stake to keep them focused. But the truth is, that's an internal problem. You'll need to dig deeper in order to root out that issue within yourself so that you're not stuck in that mindset. There's just no sense in risking more of your hard-earned money that you use to fund your account when you don't need to. We need to train ourselves to learn the same lessons with $10 that we do with 100. That way you can tread water and stay in the game a lot longer and have a fighting chance at success. And believe me when I say that you will want all of your financial capital available that you can possibly get your hands on when your A+ setup comes along. It's awful to have wasted your buying power on something so mediocre or even completely out of left field when that A+ setup comes along. It adds to the fact that you will remain behind for a lot longer. So tying up your financial capital in a trade that you know you're just wanting to push buttons in doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And contrary to popular belief and hopeful belief, being a trader is not going to mean that you show up every day and push buttons. We need to get really good at recognizing when it's time to press those buttons and when it makes sense to use our capital. The art of sitting on your hands or going for a walk or making yourself a cup of tea instead is actually part of becoming a master. And we often forget about the mental capital that we put into practice. The more of this that we waste on lesser trades, the entertainment trade or the boredom trade, the more time we're going to have to put into trying to get to that finish line. We need to always encourage our minds to take the best path for achieving success. Every time I enter a trade recently, I have forced myself into the mindset of feeling like it's my full size. Even if I only managed to fill 5 shares, then I look at it as if I have all the shares that I would have ever wanted, and I play it the exact same way. And the reason for this is the practice. It's the experience. You're already in it. You might as well use that opportunity to grow. Sometimes I will accidentally add too many shares because I have a fat finger mistake, and I do the same. I don't panic out because I know that my plan is sound and I came up with that plan for a reason. So I want to stay in that play until it is played out. Yes, that may mean that this trade will be more monetarily impactful. I kind of look at it as if this is the summation of the next 20 trades. Keeping your mind in this kind of emotional state when you're in a trade, no matter if something has gone wrong and that's upsetting to you, it is the most efficient way to become successful because you use the opportunities that are given you, whether they're perfect or not, to learn and to grow. Full size varies for everyone, and it will change for us over time as well as we gain experience and get used to the way that we're trading. But along the way, no matter what size, we need to treat every single trade like it matters because it does. We can only gain confidence through execution of our trades in the way that we set out to. Watching ourselves manage these trades and feeling what it feels like to be in those trades helps us to be able to replicate what we did. Then we can replicate this process hundreds of times from here on. I'm sure you have felt that moment when you get to the other side of the trade you were in and you realize that you executed perfectly. You nailed everything and everything you had planned worked out. There's no other feeling like that in the world. And it doesn't even matter if you have a big monetary gain. In those moments, you know that you have what it takes to be a trader versus making a couple dollars here and there. It's kind of like the give a man a fish analogy. We need to learn how to fish. And so if we don't do that efficiently, we're not going to be able to sustain ourselves. And we sustain ourselves on confidence, which will allow us to size up when we see the A+ setup. So every day, remind yourself that there are no throwaway trades. And repeat this mantra: I cannot afford worthless practice.